undergrad and grad for both Columbia and Oxford, and I play around a bit for Stanford for graduate school. I gather we have some people here from Columbia and Princeton. For those of you who are staying, Thursday night happens to be the annual Ivy League yacht race. You are all welcome to join us dining and dancing until dawn in the yacht club. We actually have a number of students and young graduates, so anybody who wants to come, just contact me. My address is gp212 for Manhattan at columbia.edu. So you're certainly welcome. For how many people is this the first trip to Israel? Okay. How many people here are going into social entrepreneurship, nonprofit, public good, public administration, whatever? How many people here are going into medicine? How many people here are going into law and business? How many people here are going into investment banking? Okay. In the fine. Now that you've drunk the spiritual Kool-Aid for a few days and everybody's waving the flag and singing Hatikva, let me give you the perspective of someone who has come with his family to make life here. I've been here since we came in the middle of the first Gulf War. We were over 1% of the total aliyah that year to Israel, my family, in the middle of the war. And I was sitting on Wall Street and said, this is madness. Let's go do something that can actually accomplish something as opposed to just making $1 zillion at Goldman Sachs. So here I am, making not $1 zillion, but doing fine, I suppose, and doing good in addition to doing well. Israel is an astonishingly corrupt country. Israel is an astonishing backward country. Israel is populated 93% by people from countries who not only have no concept of Western democracy, truly disagree with the most fundamental concepts of Jeffersonian democracy and human rights as we know it. It is imperative that more Americans and Brits come to Israel and drag it kicking and screaming into at least the 20th century, if not the 21st century. You will be inundated here with the marvels of high tech and Silicon Nation and Startup Nation, and they'll have you singing Hatikva 7 times a day, and they'll take you to Har Herzl and all the other places. It is all true, it is all valid, but I'm here to tell you the other side. The reason why the country needs you is because it is dangerously low in people who believe in Western democracy, people who have been trained in Ivy League and Oxford institutions, and people who can bring Israel into the Western world. That entire aliyah from the Middle East, that entire aliyah from North Africa, that entire aliyah from Russia, not only does not share our common beliefs, generally speaking, except for a desire of affluence, they are opposed to it. This country will go in terrible directions if you do not do something about it. That being said, as we discussed, for the first time, I am pleased to say, we actually have a bunch of internships and year Shanat Sherut that have been given to us by the Jewish Agency specifically for Anglo-American university students at graduate and undergraduate levels, some of them over here, some of them actually in the United States, both through work study and for direct internships in the United States. We are desperate for social work, social entrepreneurship, people who can wrestle what was socialist institutions into capitalist structures and democratic structures. We're desperate for investment bankers, we're desperate for lawyers, we're desperate for people who can file briefs in the Knesset on matters that we take for granted in the United States and here has never occurred to people, or worse, has been laughed at when it's been proposed in the Knesset. All of you, no matter what your chosen professions, can make enormous contributions, both from here and from home. You cannot make it writing checks to JNF and your local federation. You have to do something. Checkbook Judaism has simply died. You can't get away with that anymore. We need you to assert yourselves. We need you to invoke yourselves within the people. Any questions?
What? Sorry, you work for Columbia and Oxford. Who are the fellowships through? Is it like university fellowships?
Yeah,
Is it
through
like
the Jewish Agency. It's for any of the
Okay,
for
so
any
you work for
major
the Jewish
universities.
Agency.
You go through us,
Okay.
but we have been asked to locate up to 5 people for the next year. Any other questions? Great to see you. Oh, yeah.
You had a question.
Absolutely. Even better. I'm not laughing. Even better.
Question down there in the middle.
Are there jobs or just internships? Like during college internships?
We have jobs for people as well. The way life works here is one interns and it turns into permanent jobs.
So are these
Oh,
paid
another
internships?
Oh, absolutely. Paid, fully paid internships.
Got one more question over here.
Yeah.
Not about the internships, but you said that the problem is that there are too many people who had made Aliyah from the Middle East and Russia and countries without democracy. What about the second generation and third generation out who were raised here?
Yeah. There's no concept of Western democracy.
Even if they were raised among
Among whom?
people, I don't know, people who grew up
What
here
is the
and
percentage of Americans in Israel? I'm also chairman of the Republican Party in Israel. So how many registered voters do I have in Israel? Out of a population of 8 million Jews?
But
What's the
then they're-
population of
but then
Israel
they're still
today?
American citizens?
Pardon? What's the population of Israel? Approximately 15. How many of that's Jewish? 8. Approximately 50% of the state of Israel is invisible to you. I have approximately 300,000 Jews and 170,000 Israeli Arabs who are joint American citizens. So we're talking about 400,000 at the most out of 15 million. The answer to every question in this country is democracy is a luxury for you Americans. We can't afford it. You will hear it from senior ministers on down. That second and third generation is actually more rigid than their parents and grandparents who suffered back in Russia. Here, they didn't suffer in Libya and Russia. There is no downside. The answer to every question is Ein li eretz acheret. Democracy is a luxury. First time I got sued in this country, I got destroyed in court. And the judge cut every corner in the book. And I stood up and said, I'm going to appeal this in California, not here. He said, I dare you. And I appealed it in California. And my appeal said it was beneath Western standards of justice, and therefore I'm entitled to have the entire case heard over. So he drags me into court, and he said, I cannot believe you embarrassed the courts of the state of Israel. I said, the courts embarrassed themselves, not me. He said, 5,000 shekel fine. And now we're going to start over, may aleph ad taf, and do it the right way. Needless to say, I won. And my attorney said, that was the best 5,000 shekel you ever spent. But I could never say that to a judge. Ein li eretz acheret. You're the only one who says, yesh li eretz acheret. You don't do it the right way, I'm going to go back to America and sue you there. He said, I came from Libya. Ein li eretz acheret. The answer to everything in this country is Ein li eretz acheret, and democracy is a wonderful, wonderful luxury for people who live in Great Neck.